Hey everybody, it really isn't a mystery how relationships survive. You and I know that every long-lasting relationship has been through deliberate and concise hard work to make it come to pass. You never leave your relationship idle expecting it to prosper. By not leaving your relationship idle, goal setting is the way forward. It is believed that 40% of individuals receive success through goal setting, and that will be helpful to you in your relationship as well. And so watch this video to the end, and we will show you how to make a prosperous relationship through goal setting. So goal setting, what at all is a goal? Since we are saying that to make everything prosperous in relationship for you, you really have to set a goal. So what at all is a goal? A goal, by my definition, is anything you set in your mind to kind of achieve. That's what I call a goal. So if you have in your mind to make your relationship this way or that way, that is a goal you set in your mind to make it a reality. With that being said, let me let you know that goals is way different from wishes. Wishing is kind of like dreaming to have everything or anything, but with goals, it is one realistic, it is written, and it is clear. That is, it is achievable. But with wish, of course, you can wish to be a president of the United States when you are not even a citizen. See, it makes sense. Again, there are forms of goals. We have the short-term goals, the long-term goals, and the medium-term goals. So example of a short-term goal is can you have a goal to wake up at 6 a.m. every morning, right? That's like a short-term goal. Like tomorrow I'm going to wake up at 6 a.m. That's a short-term goal. A medium-term goal can be I want to lose a certain kind of weight in like a couple months. That's like a medium-term goal, maybe half a year. I want to lose this kind of weight. And then there's a long-term goal, which is mostly from 3 to 5 years. You set a goal for yourself to kind of achieve this in a span of 3 to 5 years. So you're probably wondering why you should set goals. Why don't you just wish your way through it? Now, setting goals, like I said in the beginning, gives you a 40% more likelihood to be successful. And this means that the probability is on your side. Going forward, we'll be telling you how to set goals, and you understand why this will give you a better option to succeed. Goals empowers you to take control of your life. So instead of wishing your way through and hoping things happen randomly, where you feel like you have no sense of urgency, what that means you have no sense of control. It doesn't make you feel so good and in control of your own life. But when you have goals set that you want to do this by this and this time, you are able to write your own life. You are able to write your own, destiny. You cause things to happen by yourself. That's exactly what goal setting does in our lives. Wow, that's very profound. Now, another reason why you should set goals, which is by far very important to me, is that it helps you maximize your time. We all have 24 hours in a day, but I know a lot of people make progress and take the best out of the time that we have. You can also do that as well, and one way and one sure way is through goal setting. Since goal setting gives you like a 40% chance of getting things done in life, why you're probably thinking, why are people then not setting goals, right? And so today we have 4 reasons why people do not set goals, and one of the 4 is that people really do not know what goal setting is about. Most people don't even know the idea of goal setting. They've not been told, they've not heard. Most of them probably didn't hear it in school and all of that. And so the mere fact that they don't know, of course, makes them ignorant in that field, and they are not able to apply goal setting in their life. Aside being ignorant, people don't even know how to set goals, even though they know that goal is important to them to achieving whatever they want to achieve, but they don't know how to set goals. They rather think of wishing their way through, which is by far a fallacy. Yeah, sometimes I think they intertwine wishes to goals. They may think they are setting goals, but what they are really doing is wishing their way through. And again, the third thing is that people are really scared of failure. People don't want to set goals because they are kind of afraid, right? They are afraid that they will set a clear goal to maybe wake up at 6 a.m. every morning and then fail at it. The mere idea of failing will not even propel them to start in the first place. You are probably surprised by that, but then that really cripples people not to start anything at all because of the fear that they may feel that they set something for themselves and couldn't achieve it. Wow. That is very true, because I know that people fear embarrassment than to even die, and that is a statistic on this one. well. So the fourth one, people fear rejection and criticism. Whenever you set goals, it leads you to be accountable. Because when you tell your fellow people that I want to become a millionaire by 30 years, because people don't want to feel accountable for whatever they set for themselves, they would rather not set goals at all. Now let's go to the next thing, which is why you should apply goal setting in your relationship. We've already given you a statistic that goal setting gives you a 40% chance of survival at anything at all you set as a goal. First reason why you should apply goal setting in your relationship is that it helps you not leave anything in your relationship up to chance. So if you are thinking of having quality time with your partner, you are not leaving that up to chance. You are actually working towards it because you set it as a goal. Both of you have decided to work towards this particular thing, and so it gives you a 40% chance of having a quality time with your partner. The second one is you are truly happy when you are working towards something important to you, when you are making progress towards something important to you. Like when you set a goal and you are working towards it, you wake up by the day and you realize that you are a step further to your goal. That brings more joy than not having anything going on with you in your life. And so in your relationship, you and your partner can set goals to have this particular achievement this day or this time. Now, the more you wake up and you find out that you are making progress, that do not just bring you guys together, it makes the relationship blossom by the day. Yeah, I've already told you in the past videos that anytime you set something as an objective or an experience in the future for you, it gives you that happiness already, even before you get that thing done. You feel excited towards any target you set for yourself, and that's exactly what Jerry is trying to put across. And so the third reason why you should apply goals in your relationship is that having goals makes you feel that you have a sense of direction. Without goals, it feels like you are walking through the fog. Imagine driving in a very thick fog. You realize there's no sense of direction, and so you can just hit anything at any time. That's how it feels like when you don't have goals in your relationship. It's almost as if that your relationship can always skyrocket into the positive direction, or it can disintegrate into a very thick pit. Now, let's get into how to set goals. Now, this is what the video is all about, and we want to really let you know how to set goals to make your relationship blossom, because this is what we are here for. When your relationship is at point A, every now and then we want you to move into B, C, and D. So that's why we come with you every week. Now, how do you set goals, and how do goal setting makes your relationship blossom? Now, the first is that you should ask yourself a set of 4 questions. And Jeffrey, I want you to help us with these 4 questions. The first among the 4 is to identify where you are currently in the relationship. There's this thing I read in a book about the iceberg theory in problem solving. It says that anytime you identify a tiny problem in any situation you are, that is just the tip of the iceberg. There's an entire ice under the water where you can't see. And so you need to identify the root cause of the tip of the iceberg, where it will help you to solve the problem. And so to set goals, you need to really identify with your partner where you are currently. So where are you now in the relationship is primarily the platform that will propel you into setting the goal. Now, in answering this question, you realize that you find a series of problems. Problems like not having quality time with your partner, problems like disloyalty, problems like distrust, communication barriers. All these problems, you find out that they are currently the situation because of 1 or 2 things that you guys did. Also, this question will also let you know the achievement you guys have had so far. Probably your partner is very good in communication, says I love you and what have you all the time. Your partner is not almost always angry, he tolerates you, she understands you. These achievements and problems, you check the 2 and see that this is your current state. Once you've identified where you currently are, the next question you want to ask yourself is, where do you really want to be, right? And so you can also categorize that into any aspect in your relationship, where maybe you can say in your finances, where do you want to be? So you can set a clear goal by saying that you want to have an annual household income of, say, 200,000 Ghana cedis. And that clear goal is where you start from. So another category you want to look at where you want to be in the future is communication. I know by far communication is one of the reasons why divorce happens, because whenever there is an issue, if for any reason you can communicate and come to an agreement, there is no way there will be any misunderstanding whatsoever. And so if you can work on communication, you are ideally protecting your relationship for the longest run. And so you can tell your partner that you work on having quality communication every time. I learn to say sorry when I make mistakes. I learn to say I love you and give you compliments when need be. And I assure you that a relationship will propel to the next level. There's something called implementation intention, where you can say, anytime I enter the bathroom, I'm going to do a push-up of 25 sets or something like that. So you can say that anytime my partner says something that hurts me, instead of responding, I will keep quiet and say, I completely understand you. That's a kind of a medium or short-term goal you can set when it comes to communication. And so the third category is also, you can also set your ideal future plan and goals in your health. You can say, oh, let's work on our longevity. Let's work on growing old together. And so we are going to set this kind of goal where we are going to check our meal, we are going to exercise very often, we are going to drink a lot of water, we are going to do all these things to help in our health when it comes to our relationship together. The next category, another category, is to check on your career. I know that for a fact that so many couples don't really want to merge their career with their relationship. They are two different things altogether. But that is a fallacy, because wherever your home is doing well, it reflects on your career. And whenever your career is doing well, it automatically reflects on your relationship or on your home. And so we advise you to work on your career very well and strive to get promotions every now and then. The more you guys are successful in your career, it will reflect on your relationship as well. So the third question you ask yourself when you are applying goal setting in your relationship is, how did we get here in the first place? Asking this simple question will cause you to identify the series of patterns that led to the current situation you are probably not so pleased about, or a situation you are very pleased about and will want to enforce it. A typical example is finding out your partner is cheating. One way you take control of the situation and not put blames on one another is to ask yourself, how did we get here in the first place? And so you realize that there was a series of patterns like not giving your partner enough time, not listening to their needs, not giving them the right compliments, and these simple things that will make the relationship spicy. You probably ignored all of these things and cause this other person to look elsewhere. So asking this question and be really intentional about it will help you to find the root cause of this and make the solution even way easier. That is if the person is not a chronic cheater and has nothing to do with it. So the last question you ask yourself as to how to set goals is, how do we get from where we are to where we want to be? Now, this question is by far the most important, because this is the execution stage. Well, first thing, you've seen the problem, you've identified it, you find ways at which this came, you found the root cause, you've seen that it's a tip of the iceberg and there was a whole block. Now, this is the execution stage as to where you get from point A to the point B that both of you are ideally want to get. Exactly as Jerry said, this stage is very, very important, right? So you can have goals set and they may be exciting, but if you don't really answer this fourth question really well as to how to get from where you are to where you want to be, you will completely destroy the goal that you set. And so how to get from where you are to where you be is something called the action stage. You describe exactly what you want to do and how you want to get that thing done. So if you set a goal to achieve 200,000 household income as a couple, now you tell yourself, how do we make this a reality? So some of these things that can come in is, you probably have to wake up earlier than normal, which is probably have to wake up at 4 a.m. and do a couple of things more than the average person will do. We probably have to be reading a lot of books to acquire a lot of knowledge. We have to be more serious when it comes to our work activities instead of playing around with our colleagues and not doing the work required of us. These are the little things that come into what you can do to get from where you are to where you want to be. That is the real action stage. So what Jeffrey is saying is agreeing to the point that you have to know the price to pay to achieve what you want to achieve, because with everything there is a price. Now these goals have been set and there is a price to pay to get them. This will differentiate you from just wishing it and getting the goal to achieve it. So an example is, if you want to have a loyal relationship, the two of you have set your mind to have a long-term loyal relationship. Now you get busy paying the price by safeguarding your heart, like we said in the other videos, not leaving your heart open for anyone to just text you and flirting with people anytime. So you put in the price by committing to just one person, even though you see other beautiful people, other intellectual people, other smart people everywhere you go. You safeguard your heart and you tell everybody else that this is the person you want to spend a good amount of time with. Yeah, so with all that you said, if you don't amplify on this last point, then I'm afraid to say that whatever that you said will not come. Right? If you said these goals and are not willing to put in the work to pay the price, right, all of this will be for nothing. If you don't go through the step-by-step processes you've done and listed to go through, I'm afraid this goal setting is not for you. Yeah, we've read enough to know that people are stuck in the knowledge zone. They know the things they have to do, but the execution is a whole lot of problem. I want to tell you that you know a lot enough. You know that you don't have to cheat. You know that you have to get more money. So get on to start. If it's a new business you want to start, get on and start it. So start the execution and leave the knowledge base that you are stuck in. Yeah, so enough of the procrastination and let's get on with achieving all that we have set for our lives. So we hope that right now you know the difference between goals and wishes. You know where you want to get from and you know where you want to be, and you are getting busy paying the price that you want to reach there. We encourage you to leave the knowledge stage and get to the execution stage, and see us in the next video with a comment that the goal setting really helped you in your relationship. Again, you can let us know in the comment section which points clearly you didn't know about, or which point that stood out, or which point you are deciding right now to work towards. Really let us know in the comment section. Alright, we hope this was helpful. Until next week, see you in the next one.